and this is my project 4. So if you've been able to peer review my project, you've probably seen this shape before because this is the same shape I've been doing. But if you haven't had the chance to peer review my projects, then let me just do the quick and dirty rundown. So I'm trying to design a W30 by 292 shape in MATLAB. But right here, I pulled the dimensions for that shape straight from the steel manual. And then here's the main dimensions right here defined. Those are the ones that I ended up using completely for this shape. So here's the bottom flange. I assumed feet for units just to keep it consistent. And I did a 30-foot length just so it was a little easier to see what was going on with the beam. But I kept the origin at 0, 0, 0, so that's why you see the negative 15 to 15. And that's for the actual length in the x1 direction. The x2 direction is the flange width, and the x3 direction is the flange thickness, with all those dimensions adjusted to place them correctly. And since each flange and the web are cubes, they have 6 faces and 12 edges, and those are defined here. Here's the web itself, and really the only difference in the code is just where the web placement is. And then the top flange, and the only difference in this code is that I wanted to set it on top of the web to make obviously that wide flange shape. So that's the only difference there. So here's the finalized W30 by 292 shape in the plot parameterization window. So it came out correctly and it looks exactly how I wanted it to. But here we'll move into the project 4 code. And really the big thing that I kind of struggled with on this project was defining the normal vectors to each surface. But I finally got it to run correctly. But here in the N1, 2, 3 are the normal vectors to each surface for that bottom flange, because this is body number 1, which is the bottom flange. So each of these is the normal vector for one surface, or to one surface on that bottom flange. And then the scalar field right here is just x1 times x2 times x3, which was the same for project 2 or project 3. My output, the surface area, which is the total surface area for the beam, ended up showing as 328.5 square feet, and the volume itself was 20.4 cubic feet. And I verify those by hand, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So here's the scalar field output. This is also very similar to project 3, just a little bit of different colors, but it actually did output correctly. Moving into the hand verification, this is where I started to see that there were probably some issues with my code, mainly in the surface area, which is right here. So I did the flanges minus the surface of the web. So where the web attaches to the flange, I took that out right here because I didn't want to include that, because on a normal wide flange shape, the web and where the flange are welded together, rolled together, that's not included in the actual surface area, obviously. So I took that out here, and so this is the actual surface area of that entire beam, and times the length, so it's 309.087, which is probably the most accurate you can get, unless you see something wrong in my equation. But then I assumed that MATLAB was probably including the tops of those, at the top and bottom of the web, and then also on the flange where those connected. So I included that too, and then also included here, which I did in the first one as well, but included the ends of the actual wide flange shape. And I still got less than what my MATLAB value was. It's 319, so it's about 9 off of what I actually wanted to see. So there's probably some issues with my Jacobian equations, but I'll have to look through that and try to figure it out. And then the volume is also just a little bit off. So the volume ended up being output at 20.4, but the hand verified volume is 17.8 cubic feet. So it's just a little off, but I'll work on it and try to get it corrected and see if I can get there for project number 5. But thank you. I appreciate it.